Hey everybody, welcome to the DC TV universe. We're here with the usual suspects, and it's time to talk Flash.
Right.
All right, listen, I don't want to prolong this, all right, because I talked about it when I did the After Flash show. Wally gets possessed by alchemy and eventually gets turned into a burrito. Discuss amongst yourselves.
He's in a
I don't think he's
cocoon
quite a
now.
burrito.
He's
Yeah,
in
he's
a
in a
cocoon.
cocoon. Speed cocoon? Is this a speed cocoon,
I mean, it's
maybe?
the husk, right?
The husk,
yeah.
From the previous,
Right.
the earlier
Yeah,
episodes.
right.
Yeah. So, I really loved Wally's plot this episode. I liked seeing the West family sort of like come together and like try to help him out, and also seeing how he's like losing control of his own, I don't know, emotions or abilities or whatever, So.
The only thing missing is like water underneath and him sitting in like a diving thing and someone throwing the ball.
Because he's going in.
Because he's going in there.
Yeah.
He's stuck in there in a carnival prize.
Yeah.
So-
I can't believe that they put him in the case. In the cell with like nothing.
No.
He didn't have a book.
Right.
Well, you know what? There's a thing there's another thing that's on YouTube where they actually talk about how all the villains are there. There's no bucket to piss in.
Yeah.
There's no bed to lay in.
People made a blanket and a pillow.
Who feeds them?
Yeah.
But I guess we have to, again, one of those things we have to just kind of let go. But but it was really interesting because I love Joe's take on it. And again, I mentioned this a couple times when you weren't here. I look at a lot of things and see it from Joe's perspective because I'm a dad.
Right.
And the whole notion of it's not that I just don't trust you, and he admitted that, and I'm glad he did. But also, he's not getting his powers the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was the thing that made a difference to me. And I actually thought Wally's reaction was honest. Like, I mean, if you were a teenager and you really wanted this, and your parents are saying something, what do parents know?
Right. And he doesn't know how Joe reacted at first about Barry.
Exactly.
So all he ever sees
Right.
is Barry being treated
And it's been
like.
great watching Barry, and I think Grant is doing a really good job of this, especially in this episode, of really showing the guilt that's on his face because he's responsible, in his own mind, whether that's correct or not,
Right.
he's responsible for Wally being in this burrito. He's responsible for Caitlin all of a sudden going bad. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's that guilt that he's
Right.
feeling for how he caused this.
Speaking of Caitlin going bad,
Segue.
right?
Riding the segue. I'm riding the segue.
Caitlin is becoming Killer Frost, and Cisco even vibed them fighting.
Right.
Yep.
And of course, like any psychic, he doesn't stop to think about what it might actually mean in a bigger picture.
Right,
They just
right.
assume it means Caitlin's going to become evil.
Right.
There couldn't be another possible reason why they're fighting.
I thought of that too. Yeah. And in Flash, usually there is another.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
quite
so I'm
as
sure
clear.
that it's not going to be as clear cut as that. But
Well,
you
he
guys,
didn't want to tell her first,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
which
It definitely makes sense.
like I mean,
kinda
he's like
protecting
scared.
her.
He doesn't. Yeah, he wants to protect her
Right,
too. They
right.
have such a great. They're like one of the best currently. Like
They have a great chemistry
yeah,
together.
they do.
always
They
have
all
that
their
great
scenes.
chemistry.
Like I don't want to be insulting, but I think that Carlos elevates Danielle as an actor. I will say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say
That's not
that.
insulting. No, that's right. I mean, a lot of actors say that.
Yeah.
You work with certain people and they bring out the best in you. I see that happening also. So we had that vibe fight, and that was kind of great. It was glad to see that now she's admitted and opened up, and now people know what's going on. But let's cut to the chase. Let's get to the end here. We have that major fight. They get alchemy. I mean, it's funny. The show was really about the shadow, and the shadow
Right, the
served the
shade,
purpose. The
shade.
shade. I'm sorry.
The shade was
Thanks about
so
the shade. The
Well,
shade
the
was
comic
kind of.
book universe.
Yeah, but
you
it
know,
was like a waste of a great
Right.
villain.
Yeah, they could have
So-
used
They could have used it better. But I want to talk about the moment where we saw the shade while dealing with a couple of things. Number one, what is that transfiguring face thing that HR is doing?
Oh yeah, the transmogrification.
We love that. What is it called?
All right, now last week,
Transmogrification.
I want to say this about
Transmortification.
HR because last week I said on the show how I didn't love or loved Harry, but that HR was a little like not sure about. All right, I love HR.
Yeah,
and
like,
it's
take-
Tom Cavanagh is such a good actor
Yeah,
to make
great.
all three of these very distinct and different
Yeah,
characters.
he was definitely much more fun this episode.
He was
Last
great.
week I was like, but this week I was like,
I was
okay, I
annoyed
see what's
the
going on.
first week,
Yeah, exactly.
and now I'm
this week I see what's
starting.
going on.
I really like HR.
Right. Before
Except
you-
for C blocking.
Right.
Right.
Even
that-
that was
He
funny.
was-
that was
he did
pretty
a great
hilarious.
job doing
Yeah.
that, though.
But poor Joe was like, all right, I'm gonna hurt
But of
someone.
course,
Yeah.
of course.
I have to talk about Iris, otherwise I'm gonna cry.
Do it.
But I really love that we finally got to hear her perspective on what it feels like to be the badass normal in the middle of supers. You know, especially because the show won't let her have a journalism arc so far.
Right.
So she feels like,
Right.
what am I contributing? And Yes?
No, go ahead, finish. I want you to finish. Yeah.
So and of course I love that Barry says there wouldn't be the Flash without you, because it's true, because Barry would just kill himself if Iris wasn't around. But also, I like that it feels like it's planting the seeds, because her face looks like, I don't believe you. And then he brings it up again with Caitlin, when he's like, yeah, it sucks that you're turning into a refrigerator, and it sucks that Wally's becoming a cocoon, but also Iris is sad right now, and I don't understand.
Well, and also that the relationship between Iris and Barry, they were playing in that first season was very cat and mouse. You know, we were sort of playing it very close to the vest for a while. And this season, what's been really great is going through season 2 and going through Flashpoint and having them really have these moments where they realize, I think there was in one of the episodes after Flashpoint, where Iris says, you know, basically, I'm there for you in I'll always be there. There's
Iris and you're always
Barry.
And
Iris. Yeah, that was the line.
Yeah.
Which was I was like, oh yeah, that's it. You got it.
I was saying that. What did you say?
That's what they all say.
That's what they all say. But this time you get to see the proof. This time you see the proof.
The point that I want to make about that was interesting, because we've been talking about this as we talk about all of these shows, especially Legends, which we'll get to later. And this isn't the Iris we met the first. Remember, this is at Flashpoint Iris.
So it feels like a change to Barry.
And it kind of reminds me of, like, the first one, she seemed okay because she was still a part of the team and she was all right. But it sounds like there's a little bit, if we can go back to Supergirl, it sounds like there's a little bit of Jimmy Olsen in her.
Especially because she heard this episode that Barry tells her, you were Team Flash.
Exactly.
In the other world.
And it seemed to me that validated whatever it is she may be feeling that she didn't articulate until Barry revealed that to her. That was very cool. And then, of course, we were talking about HR being the old block there. He was straight up Lando Calrissian. He even said his line, he's like, well, hello. All he had to say was, what have we here? I was just waiting for that.
I know. It was just funny shtick for Tom.
It was great.
And he even did it like with Caitlin when he first was introduced. He was like, oh, are you single? And he said in Nakan this weekend that he did it too with that he does it in the future with Iris, where he's like, whoa, whoa.
Okay,
so like we should be seeing that.
Right.
I can't wait till he meets like Martian Manhunter and be like, oh, I can do this, but I can do it without that.
I hope that they get to do a crossover like that eventually.
That would be awesome. So what about at the end now? The big reveal at the end.
Oh God, yes.
Savatart, aka son of Megatron. I am the god of speed. No, you are Megatron.
That's so true.
Look, I even went there. I went there.
He really does. He really does look like a Transformer.
And that was the first thing I thought of. And it's an unusual choice, because in the comic books, he really looks like the Ultimate Warrior, if you remember that.
He's like shirtless, like
kind of buff.
God.
Which made sense, because that was the era when the character was created. So to take him and make him basically a Transformer, it's an interesting choice. I mean, it's a cool look. He looks cool. You know, obviously there's going to be the comparisons, but we'll see where it goes.
I mean, he definitely did look cool. And I've got to say that so far, Alchemy had been disappointing so far. You know, it's been a really slow start to the villain season. So once Savitar showed up, I was like, okay, I can see this is like a Savitar, like a speed cult, if you will. And like maybe waking people up inside like Evanescence is a sacrifice.
But who's the real big bad?
Right, the real big bad. I feel like Savitar is like Alchemy's god. Right?
Yeah, maybe.
So like
say that again?
Savitar is like the god that Alchemy is praying to. So he's like making sacrifices, like opening up the husks
like
or whatever,
Vader and the evil
as
Emperor.
an offering to the Speed Force, or as an offering to Savitar.
Is the evil Emperor.
Right.
Yes,
Savitar is the evil Emperor.
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting, because I saw it the other way.
No, I
saw it the other way.
Yeah, right. Like you saw, like Savitar's coming to do Savitar. But I feel like it's like the power from Wally or the power from Barry, like brings Savitar, because he can.
With pre-production, it seems to be the trend with me, with like Alchemy looking like Megatron, with Steel looking like
every time I'm gonna laugh.
Steel looking like Colossus. Could it be
Look like
Could it be because they know how to do these things easily, and maybe let's write it to how the effects can turn out?
That's probably true. I'm sure that they were like, Armin, what do you want to do with this? And he was like, Megatron.
Certainly, Ray Palmer is essentially Tony Stark.
Definitely.
There are there are comparisons.
And I love synergy between Marvel and DC. One of the, if I can throw something out here, and I may get a lot of bad comments, but I felt like a comment that was made in the movie Incredibles about monologuing. They had Alchemy. He was down, but they had that moment of talking. And I mean, it's a trope that a lot of movies and TV shows do, and a lot of times the smarter ones don't do it. So in this show that I thought, this episode that I thought was like great, when they did that, I was Syndrome from the Incredibles. You got me monologuing. But overall, I loved it. It's a comic book trope.
Right. I mean, goes
Right.
back.
And also, how else are we going to know what
Exactly.
alchemy is doing, why he's doing?
That's
I'm
the only way we
waiting.
were able to get Savatart in
We need
there.
a little exposition.
Exactly.
Right.
That's like, well, listen, we also need a little bit of stuff from you, and you were also as awesome as you normally are. You sent us in some memes. Oh yeah, we got flash memes coming up.
always flash
Thanks to you.
memes.
Keep
Love
them
flash
coming.
memes.
We love them.